Welcome, UCL fans, to our Week 2 preview, Part 2, for the United Championship League's off-season Little Cup tournament. I'm your host, Nintendo Fanatic 64, and I'm just here to make my predictions on potential team matchups and everything that will happen for week 2, which will be happening by the time this video goes up, happens tomorrow. So we're going to look at the brackets real quick. In our first part, we did cover the Johto and the Hoenn divisions. In this video, we'll be covering the Sinnoh and the Kanto divisions for it. So just trying to mix them up so I'm not always two in the same teams on each parts on them for it. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into the first battle, which will be from on the Sinnoh division, which is the Long Island Regirockies and the Newcastle Nido-Kings. Now, just based upon the team captains, I would say the Long Island Regirockies have the advantage, with ground types being super effective over the poison types. Now, this was going to be a super hard one because we have coach from the Long Island Regirockies, Nips, is probably a little bit more experienced just based upon the content I've seen on their channels. A little bit more experience when it comes to Wi-Fi battles over the Newcastle Nido-Kings, but you can't put anything past the Newcastle Nido-Kings, being that they were in the top 4 last season, or for season 1 of the UCL, so they kind of know what they're doing. Either that or they just get extremely lucky for a long period of time for it. So potential teams I could see bringing, now let's just take a look here with I'm looking at Newcastle right now. It's got Poison, got a kind of a big fire weakness, but not a lot of fire answers on the response for Long Island. So it's going to be an interesting one. I could see for Newcastle Nido-Kings bringing probably the Pharaoh Seed to set up. I think last time it did set up like Leech Seeds, as well as I could set up like not spikes. I can't think of them right now. Let's set up the rocks, stealth rocks for it. Chinchou put in the most work for Newcastle with its water electric typing. You just don't know if it's going to be, if it will take the Volt Absorb or the Water Absorb. So, based upon the Long Island Regirockies, I can see it coming with Water Absorb this year for it. You got Chikorita, Badoo. Cubone did alright last time. Cyndaquil, I think just got one shot at, so didn't really do a whole lot. So let's get back. Potential teams: Newcastle Nido-Kings, Pharaoh Seed, Chinchou. I could see Badoo. Potentially, I think Badoo can set up Toxic Spikes, so have like Stealth Rocks and Toxic Spikes up. Potentially Gumi this time around, because there's not... Oh, maybe not, because it does have that Spritzy, which would definitely be doing good. A lot of work against it. I can see Glameow. Glameow did pretty decent. I mean, it scared out a potential threat last time around that had like 2... I think it was like a Binnacle or something like that. I forgot which one it was, but had 2 shell smashes up and scared it out with Glameow, so could see that potentially happening. Not 2, wouldn't be surprised seeing that. So final team prediction, I'm going to go Pharaoh Seed, Chinchou. I'm going to go Cubone, Natu, Glameow, and maybe Slugma. Just kind of give it some more coverage all the way around. For Long Island Regirockies, I'm going to go with Spritzy and Larvesta. Definitely, I could see Apom coming in. Piplup, so it can set up rocks and defog them away. Definitely did that last time around for it. I could see Magby possibly coming. It learns Thunder Punch and made predictions last time for it. And finally, maybe something such like Beldum, or I would say maybe Clauncher or Swaddle, just something in case the Cubone does show up. So again, these are just kind of my predictions of what might end up happening for the next matches. So up next we have the Philadelphia for Alligators and the Durham Druddigons. So this one was definitely going to be an interesting one. If you went by just the looks alone, Durham Druddigons team captain obviously bodies the for Alligators captain, the Totodile. But I mean, despite the fact that coach of the Philadelphia for Alligators, PK Sparks, that hotness, aka Fisherman PK, because of all the fish he managed to reel in during the draft. Might still have a slight chance. Now, I mean, it has to worry about like the Blitzel, and that's really about the biggest threat that, is going to be coming from the Durham Druddigons to the Philadelphia for Alligators. Now, Blitzel with its electric typing could be easily countered, though, with either Drober or Goldine with Lightning Rod for it, so depending on how he wants to go with it. I can say Lickitung being coming from the Philadelphia for Alligators, it put in the most work for them last week. Even if it wasn't a losing effort, it came so close and down to the wire for it. So potential teams, Philadelphia for Alligators, I could see Totodile coming. I could see Lickitung making its return. Remoraid could have I think Remoraid gets like Signal Beam or something, some type of bug attack. So that would be really effective against the Inkay. So I could definitely see that coming. I could see Gibble potentially coming and doing a lot of work. I could see potentially even Goldine, just to make sure that if he does bring Blitzel with lightning, he has the lightning rod. Final Mon, I would say potentially maybe Litleo, or I don't know if I said Houndour or not, but probably one of those two, just have a fire type on there. For the Aeron, even though I know it's steel and rock, fire types would still do a lot of damage. For the Durham Druddigons, I would say best bet would be to bring Blitzel, probably Volibear, just because it doesn't really have anything on the team that could really counter them, and it'd be good against like the Frillish. Ammonite, that was the one that got scared out, that had up the two small shell smashes last week against the Newcastle Nidoking, so I can foresee that happening again, setting up a couple shell smashes and taking out the Philadelphia for Alligators with almost anything. I don't foresee Onyx or Aeron coming just because of all the water typings. Pinecone, maybe, just something for diversity, but he's kind of in a similar boat where he has a lot of, water typings that won't do him much good with Mantike, Squirtle, Panpour, and Ducklet. But could potentially bring it in, make this into almost a water battle, because there's not really a lot of electric typings that Philadelphia for Alligators can use. I don't think anything on his team can learn any type of electric attack. Except, maybe Lickitung can learn Thunderbolt. Yeah, I think it did, because he used Thunderbolt last time on it, if I remember correctly. So, I'm going to go with Blitzel, Volibear, Ammonite, Inkay, Pineco, and finally either, I'd say, Squirtle or Mantike, just to kind of round out the team for it. So, alright, now we're going to go moving all the way back to where it began, back in the Kanto Division. We have the South Beach Slowkings taking on the Bristol City Blazekins. Now, team captains, they are the same typing, two different fire starters from two different generations. Going into this, last week, Bristol City Blazekins almost had a win, but made a foolish move late in the game that, ended up costing them, getting swept by one Pokemon in the end. Both teams, both coaches, with Game Boy Luke from the Bristol City Blazekins and David, a.k.a. Sensational GP from the South Beach Slowkings, not being the biggest Wi-Fi battlers, at least not based on their content on their channel. It'll be interesting to see how they come up with a decent strategy. Bristol City Blazekins, I can see Torchic, Gothita, Snivy, I would say maybe the Rufflet, potentially Krogunk, and maybe the Bunnelby would be the teams that he brings for South Beach Slowkings. I don't think he's going to bring the Pawniard, just due to the fact that with Torchic, Krogunk being able to do a lot of damage. However, with Oddish and Ekans being poison typing, it would definitely come in a lot handy, so who knows for sure. I can definitely see Charmander, I would say Darumaka, or Charmander or Darumaka. I don't think he'd bring both. Bulbasaur, Chespin. Golett definitely did a lot of work and helped him out last week, so I could definitely see Golett. Potentially Rhyhorn, but it's kind of hard to say, so it's really hard. Again, with them not having a set battling style to see what they would do every week, it's hard to say. So I'm going to say Charmander, Chespin, Darumaka, Potentially Zigzagoon, Golett, and I would say the last spot would be either Machop, Rhyhorn, or Poniard. Very highly doubt it would bring the Poniard just because with Torchic being almost a definite coming in for it. And of course, which one does the Krogong being a fighting type would definitely do a lot of damage as well. So the final match is going to be the Tulsa Town Flames versus the Real Marill. This will be an interesting one. I foresee, just based upon the team captains alone, of course, the Tulsa Town Flames would, it's kind of a tie considering their water type, but with Froakie's protein ability, could probably easily take out a Slowpoke from it. Potential mons being brought from Tulsa Town Flames, I could see maybe, let's see, I'm just looking through the teams real quick. I don't see Slowpoke coming this time, nor do I see Ponyta. I can see Timber coming. I think Laleep gets Storm Drain, so that would definitely help out with some of the water typings with Wailmer, Froakie, and different things like that. Riolu maybe. I don't foresee Tyrogue. Krabby, excuse me, I just trying to figure these out. Krabby, potentially. Coughing would definitely be a good wall for it, so I would say finally, in the end, I'd say maybe I'd say probably go with Slowpoke, Coughing, Lily, Bagon, Krabby, and then Timber. If anything, take out either Krabby or Slowpoke and put Ponyta in there just to give them some more diversity with typings on it. Real Marills, coached, of course, by Mega Mogwai, has a lot more battling experience than Cuddle of Death, aka Kristen, from the Tulsa Talon Flames, just being part of both the UCL and, of course, the GBA, was the GBA Season 4 champion. Would not be surprised if he comes ready to go for this. Potential teams, Froakie, I could see Snover potentially being there, Pancham, Meowth, because I think it gets Fake Out, which would be definitely good. Drifloom, potentially good. Smoochum, which was his MVP, got 5 knockouts last week in a row, I think. So, I mean, just completely swept his opponent. Deerling, maybe, but not likely. So I could definitely see Froakie. I could definitely see Smoochum. I could definitely see Wailmer kind of putting in a little bit of his own wall. Meowth would be pretty decent. Pancham, and maybe either the Punkaboo or the Drifloom. They're both ghost typings. Probably go with the Punkaboo just because it has both grass and ghost types. So that's my predictions of like some of the teams being brought this weekend or starting tomorrow, since like I said this should be going up on Friday. Thank you all very much for watching. If you do enjoy these videos, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments section what teams you're rooting for during this season, and if you really do like this and want to see this become more of a recognized thing by the UCL, I encourage everyone, tweet at the UCL, let them know that you want this to become more recognized, so that way more fans can even watch it and get the reviews, because not everyone can sit and watch every single battle for it, but I make the time to do that. So, and I do that for everyone who watches. So thank you all very much again for watching. Thank you for your support, and I will see you all next time. Take care and good night.